Okay, guys, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. There's been Instagram polls, there's been lots of suggestions who you want on the podcast, and we are finally here. Me and Ben are in Leamington, and we're joined by our special guest, live and direct from Philadelphia, John Lumley. Hello, John. Good evening. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good, team. I'm good. How are you guys?
Oh, fantastic. Been a good afternoon of real tennis here. Done 2 hours with Benno. Driven down from Manchester, especially for this. No pressure. But I mean, yeah,
Gosh.
I feel like this episode could bring in some serious traction from across the pond and indeed all over the world. Who knows? So,
Yeah, there's a bit of pressure on you, mates. We've had we
I know.
we had Josh Smith on as our first guest, and we talked about because he's obviously like quite new to the tournament scene, like how he was finding it and what it was all like, and how it like differed from what he was expecting and stuff. Then we had Claire on, so you got some big boots to follow.
I know. Some big names there.
Spoke about like ladies tennis and her like integration into the men's, the men's game, if you like, for want of a better phrase. And it's time for America. And literally, when I spoke to Shankers, I was like, mate, we need another guest. We should get someone from America. I was thinking John Lumley, and I went, who do you want? And he just went Lummers. So there you go.
Guys.
You got the clean sweep.
I know Steve Vergona a close second, but he's unavailable. No, he didn't get asked. But no. So mate, but anyway, while we're doing this chat, so what's your like lockdown routine like at the moment? I mean, are you back at work? I don't even know. Is the Philly club back?
Yeah, we're back at work. We went back. I want to say early June, maybe June 6th.
Oh, easy.
So yeah, but it was tennis was pretty normal. Obviously in Philly you can cross to the other side of the net, so we had some like regulations. We had a half an hour cleaning.
My God.
Is that for every court?
Every court. So it was pretty spaced out. We moved to 50 minutes with half an hour cleaning. So you're spraying all the poles, like the posts, the troughs, the balls. So that also we were sort of giving them a light dusting. With this like sort of spraying machine we had, which is like antiseptic thing.
Did that make the floor any less rough?
Yeah, did that?
No, it's still rough and bouncy.
It's just get out there with an angle grinder.
Exactly.
And, like...
all of a sudden, after all the cleaning, like it's sliding around here. What's going on?
That's interesting though, because you're obviously like a few thousand miles away, and you're doing the same as what we're doing here at Leamington. So we're an hour, but then leaving 15 minutes for cleaning. But like you, we're cleaning after every court, and like some clubs in England, like a couple of clubs in England, just aren't cleaning at all. They're not doing any cleaning.
Right, which is pretty wild. We've now moved since then. We've moved to 15-minute cleaning slots, so it's like quicker turnaround.
Yeah, get more people in.
Which is obvious, exactly, because it was like, the court looked busy, but you were like, we've got half an hour's gap.
You only got 4 courts to sell.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're fully booked, guys.
So that's been good.
And the members have responded all right to it? Been pretty good?
They have. Very, very busy on the court tennis. The squash has been a little bit tricky because we've been doing pods. So you're allowed pods of 5.
Yeah.
So we'd be allowed like me, you guys, Chappers, and Cam, and that would be it. So if 2 guys are way down at the beach and then one guy can't make that time, your options are very limited. So
yeah.
But again, I think October 1st, we're moving to 10-person pods, so it's doubling. So that'll be...
Oh, awesome.
Oh, cool. So things are getting a little bit easier.
Exactly, yeah.
We've gone, obviously you've got family in the UK, so you'll know that we're actually taking a backward step as of this week.
Really?
So we did have groups of, is it 30?
Something like 30? That. I don't know.
Like inside or outside, you could meet up and like have a party or whatever, and you could have up to 30 people there.
Filling dead-ons, yeah.
They've restricted that down to 6 as of Monday.
Mate,
so.
I thought you were going to talk about Tara being on the front cover of the TNRA annual. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
you were going to say that.
That got posted through today.
I know.
Mum just sent a bunch of pictures in the family chat. So.
What, just of different angles of the front cover? Like, look at it from this angle.
Yeah. And
it's not moving.
And all this, so yeah, it's exciting.
Have you ever made it onto the front cover of the TNRA mag?
He hasn't.
I don't believe I have.
No, you haven't.
Has Mum or Dad?
Yeah, your mum has. 0203.
I'm sure, Mum. Wow.
Right.
Sorry, it's quite a good. Basically, that edition of the TNRA annual is awesome because I think or maybe it's 0102, I'm not sure, but it's the one where Rob and Tim have the 7-6 at Hampton Court, so I always used to read that one. Anyway, enough about it.
So what we're finding out here is that mum and sister have been on the front cover, but dad and son haven't. So obviously we're living in a sexist world.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Mum was obviously a legend and still is in the game, and I'm yet to win an Open. So
Yeah, exactly. Tara and Penny are family.
I feel you. Don't worry. We're in the same boat.
Doubles though, doubles. Come on.
Yeah.
Doubles.
We support a double. We're a doubles supporting podcast.
I'm a double specialist, so it's fine.
I tell you what. We've got the small talk out of the way. Lummers is nicely warmed up. I can tell his heart rate's gone down a little bit. Benno's just cracking open his notes here with a few gritty questions in his words.
What people need to realise, they need to realise two things. Like Lummers, you'll be able to vouch for this. Like at no point have we teed him up as to what we're gonna ask him. This is completely off the cuff. He will be thinking on his feet, and that is good for two reasons. A, that's how we do the podcast, and B, for those of you who don't know John that well, you will never ever meet somebody that squirms so much over questioning. So I'm really looking forward to this.
That's a nice in joke. I've heard the story. Anyway,
so Lummers, we got you on because A, you're obviously a very good bloke and a good friend of ours, and we wanted to just branch out a little bit and get somebody in from a different country, and we figured that as America is a powerhouse of the game, that would be the first place we would go to. So the first couple of questions are going to be a bit about you, and then we're going to just talk about real tennis in America compared to England and stuff like that, and kind of, for those people who have not played in America or anything like that, what they're missing out on, and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just going to start off very simply by chucking you on the spot and saying, John Lumley, what is your best ever singles win?
It's got to be.
I love the fact that he knows straight away.
It's winning the 2018 ITBA Championship at your club, Benny Boy, Leamington. I had a great week. I beat Rob Fay.
3-1 in the final.
Tight 4 sets.
I have to confess, I went into the dining room for lunch before you started because Adam Phillips marked it, right?
He did, yes.
So I went into the dining room for lunch and got offered a glass of wine, and I didn't actually make it out of the dining room until after you'd finished the match. So I didn't actually watch any of it. But
he was still on the same glass.
I was getting updates all the way through, and was obviously, as a good mate of mine, chuffed for you. But yeah, by the time I walked on court to do the presentation and stuff with Craig and stuff like that, I was pretty smashed by the time I got out.
Yeah, on court. I remember you giving me a big cuddle.
There you go.
And, you were pretty fired up at that point.
When you used to be able to do that sort of thing, you can't even do that anymore. Of
course. So why was that the best win ever? I mean, there's obvious reasons, it's a tournament win and stuff like that. But how many boxes got ticked by that particular match?
Quite a lot. I don't think I'd beaten Rob before that.
No, you hadn't. No.
I mean, Schenker's obviously is the stat man.
That's a big one. He's obviously the best player that's ever lived. So
first win over the GOAT.
First win over the GOAT.
Did you know that my first ever win over the GOAT was in straight sets?
Yours was?
Yeah, I trashed him 3-love in the French semis.
I thought I was supposed to chip him with it was an exhibition or something. There's this great exhibition I played once.
Actually, I tucked him up in the Browning Cup a few years ago, 2-1.
Yeah, smashed him.
Anyway, sorry, mate. Yeah, big win over Rob.
Mhm. I think I really enjoyed. I remember the crowd being very. It was a packed dead on, and the side galleries were pretty, almost packed as well, from what I remember. And the crowd were extremely loud, and you'd have a good rally, and they were applauding good tennis, and it was fun to be playing in front of that sort of crowd.
I like that.
You don't get that very often, or at least when I'm, if you're making finals maybe. But that's sort of my first big professional title. So yeah.
It's a good club for tournaments, don't you reckon?
It was great.
It is a good club for
tournaments. I mean, your members are great. They're good fun. They're all having drinks, and it was rowdy.
The thing is, what you got to remember as well, a lot of people kind of still think of Leamington as this club where everyone's just like rat-assed and really inappropriate. And
Yeah, nice.
the
nice,
thing
Ben.
is, like,
You work here still.
they do enjoy a drink, but if you think about it, 90% of the tennis they watch when there's like a big tournament weekend, they're all pretty fueled. So
Right.
they know how to behave like in the dead on after 5 or 6 pints. So it's all, but
Yeah.
like you say, it just adds to the atmosphere, and you can just feel there's a bit of a buzz around the place. Like it is good.
It's the Midlands powerhouse now. It's the home of real tennis in the Midlands, I think, Leamington.
The home of Warwickshire tennis.
North of London. But yeah, that's a really good answer. I do remember that week. It's a great Instagram you put on, actually. Your hair's sort of all over the place. You're holding the trophy up. I know the Insta well.
It's all about the social media game, right?
And I think it's a great caption as well. Something like "Boom, I did it." I'm going to try and find the caption, but no, it was a good week, that one. I remember watching the streams.
Yeah.
All good.
So moving on to like, unfortunately, like your darker days.
Whoa.
What's the toughest loss you've ever had to go through?
This implies you've lost a match before.
You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just lose a match and you're just like, that's a heartbreaker for whatever reason. The fact that you don't have one immediately to hand is a good thing because obviously you don't dwell on stuff.
No, there was a big one against Faye. I think it might have been last year. I lost him 6-5 in the 5th at the French Open.
Yeah.
And there was a 6-5 set before that. I think it was the 4th or the 3rd set, which I also lost 6-5.
Oh my god.
And that was tough.
Yeah.
I walked off. I went round that back way from Paris and sort of sat on a squash court for half an hour.
Yeah, just need.
I thought you were gonna do like an Andy Fowler then, and I wrapped all my rackets around a lamppost. I obviously don't know the geography about Paris, but that is quite. Yeah, I was expecting some sort of dramatic reaction. I just broke down.
Yeah, that was tough. I remember that one.
Were you thinking right? So obviously, and then you followed it up by beating Rob at Leamington. That can't have been much later on. That must have been 2 months later, or a month later.
I think Faye, that 5-setter might have been 2019.
Right. Okay.
So that was
So
after.
it might have been last. Was it? Gosh, I can't remember.
I feel like that's more recent than your IRTPA win because you won the IRTPA the first year we had it, right? Or the second year? Second year. No, you did win it the second year. Yeah.
Can't remember the first.
Yeah.
So right, okay. When you lost against Rob there, so I thought it was obviously before you'd conquered the hurdle. So were you mainly sad because of the permutations for the race, or just because you thought you should have won, or because Rob had basically got his revenge? What was going through your head there? That's obviously quite a deep question. Feel free to reject the answer. You don't have to answer it.
I remember I beat him in October 2018, and we played in the US Open in Tuxedo early January.
Yeah.
And I lost to him then, and I remember him saying afterwards, I was basically coming for you for the IRTPA. I had to get sort of
had to exercise the demons.
The last win back, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was definitely the next time we played after I beat him. And then that French one was, I think, that following sort of season at the French in September. So,
yeah.
There was a tough one I think it was against you, Benny, where Nicky and I were he was ahead of me in the race, but I'd done all the sort of calculations, if you like, and I needed to get through. I think I needed to beat you, and he needed to...
Mate, I'd done the calculations as well. I think you had to get 2 rounds further than him.
Right, I needed him to get...
This is British Open, obviously.
British Open 2019.
British Open.
Yeah.
And I remember you beat me, we came to net and did our handshake cuddle, whatever, and you were like, sorry, I really, obviously wanted you to get there, but I'm not going to let you.
Well, mate, I did say that because I was like, obviously I want you to get there, but at the same time, I want to try and win the British Open. And
of course.
And do you know what? That is where it's brutal. And mate, nobody has suffered World Championship eliminator, qualification, weird maths and horrible situations than me. I did it 3 times in a row or something. So I get it massively, and that's why when the draw came out and I saw that I was playing you, obviously not that I just assumed that I'd win, but I was just like, oh fuck, why? I don't want to play either of these two. I want them to have to fight it out. Do you know what I mean? I don't want me to have to to be a potential block for somebody.
Yeah.
Oh well,
So, yeah,
it's
that's
done
it.
now. It's done now. I remember watching that match in a lecture, and everyone around me was like, "What are you doing?" And obviously, like, I just remember watching it, and, like, looking at the screen, and everyone's just literally looking at me like, "What are you doing?" But no, it was a good four-setter. Right. Well,
So presumably on that basis, 2022, you're gunning for eliminators. I mean, assuming we
Yeah.
get to play some tournaments, but you must be in a healthy
Assuming,
situation
yeah.
because you did. Did you do Oz and US
I did.
at the beginning of this
Yeah, Oz
year?
and US.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
I
you
did,
must
yeah.
be in a very healthy situation.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm looking pretty good. I lost to Steve at the US, so that didn't help. Because that was quite early on. I think I had him
you're
in
up there
quarters.
with Michael Williams at the top of the rankings, aren't you?
Well, that's the beauty about playing both events. Like, so
I know. Early days.
you're already up there. So that right. So that's good. So 2018 will be a long distant memory. You're gunning for 2022. So that's good
Question
news.
3.
Yes.
Ben's here.
Well, I guess on the basis of World Championship stuff, who's going to win 2020? Well, which will be 2021.
So that's Rob or Cam. You got 2 options.
I think Cam's. I'm gonna go with my boy.
He's what?
He's obviously fired up, and I think he's this quarantine he's had like the sort of break that he's needed or wanted, and he's now like looking to I think fire it up and really get into it. I know Preston would be tough venue to go to there.
Do you reckon Prested, right, in that crowd, all supporting Rob, could well be one of the most intimidating venues to go to? Maybe I'd put Melbourne up there if Rob was playing, maybe, but like, do you reckon that's like top 3 most intimidating places to go? Like, imagine like you're playing football or whatever, soccer, like you go into some ground where it's just like, oh my god, I hate playing here. Like, that could be tough.
Yeah, I think
Prested.
definitely.
Yeah, I think in
Queens
like
last time was tough for him as well, right? Like whenever you sort of play at Queens, that everyone seems to be heavily on Faye's sort of side.
Yeah.
mate, you can
Preston will be another league.
you can be British. Trust me, you can be British. Playing against him in the British Open, and they still all want him to fucking win. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's tough.
But if you take the okay, so you've gone with Cam. That's absolutely fine. I think he's obviously the favourite, right? You'd be hard pushed to find if you did a
Yeah,
poll. I think you'd be the majority of people would say Cam. As Schenker's just said there, if there were 3 venues in the world that would really give Rob like a better chance, so that's a horrible thing to say. Like he's not got a chance. But do you know what I mean? If Rob could pick 3 venues in the world for like support and like home, knowledge and stuff like that, Prested would be one of them, right?
Queens would be another, I think. He's got 2 in a row.
Queens, and wherever he's like Preston now because he was there for a couple of years. Obviously, when they had their World Doubles, they had a very big following there.
Yeah,
that was impressive what Cam did that week as well.
Yeah, it was featured on one of our earlier podcasts, right?
Right, to be that far down and come back was impressive.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Right, another one more, and then we're going to get into the grit.
Okay.
Whoa.
So, obviously you come from a very wealthy family in terms of like real tennis honors.
Yeah.
Who's the best tennis player in the family?
Is there a dog?
Like ever or
just who's the best? Who
currently now?
Who has the ability to stick their chest out the most? Who's the alpha when you're at home?
Oh, exactly. There we go.
I mean that Colin, right? He's always sort of that alpha sort of person. But yeah, Mum can sit quietly in the corner and know. The most ornament, and she's got
Right, so Colin's a bit more outspoken about it, and Penny just sits in the corner, just like, I don't need to say anything because I just know.
Colin's like, in my day, if you saw it, it was different in my day.
He likes that one, like, getting to a plus handicap and back in the day, those types of things. But he does it obviously in a joking way, but I'm still the only one in the four of us that doesn't have a open singles title. So it's like whenever we start talking about it,
I was just about
pull
to
that one out the bag.
Well, I was just about to say, like, when your dad starts talking about plus handicaps and stuff like that, does Penny just kind of go like, "Hang on a minute, just let me just show you the trophy cabinet"?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, because I don't have enough room for all of these things.
Right, not like she was ladies world champion 6 times, so it's like
that's quite impressive.
It's not like she was, she held it for 12 years, which is.
So would we say then that the most successful tennis player in your family is Mum?
I think so, yeah.
I think that's fair, isn't it? Do you know what? I hadn't actually. I wasn't aware that Big Colin had won an Open. So you are actually.
Did he win one?
He's an Aussie. He won Aussie Open. He might have.
Oh, mate, Aussie Opens don't count. We all know that.
We've all won one of those.
Aussie Opens don't count. Christ.
Oh yeah, they had to get the boat over.
So let's get this straight. In the Lumley family, you are the only one of the 4 not to have won an Open. However, you will have registered the best handicap that any of the 4 have ever registered.
Yes.
Bonkers,
correct.
Isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean Tara now is ladies world rackets doubles champion.
I saw that actually.
She's added that one into the.
You can't compete with that. You can't.
So she's actually She's a multi-sport world champion.
Exactly. So I'm sort of slacking.
Mate, you're gonna have to.
It's okay.
You're gonna have to buck up. You're gonna have to buck up.
I like that though. I like that.
Not through lack of trying.
Yeah, exactly. It's just all deliberate.
Hopefully, the next generation is just as successful. I like the 3 generations sort of theme. We'll see. Time will tell.
Right, mate. So, obviously, you are British. Do you class yourself as British or Australian?
Or American?
British.
Good man. You are technically a Brit abroad. You made the move over to Philly, it's got to be like 6-7 years ago now.
2012ish.
September 2013.
Oh, nearly.
Wow. So, without getting too political, obviously you were in that kind of era where quite a few Brits like
Dodgson
flocked over. Yeah, like Dodgson, Tony Hollands has been over. Leon's gone over.
Smart.
Yeah, Connor's obviously gone over. AJ's over there now.
Phil Shannon.
So there is like basically a conveyor belt from the UK to America, right?
Yeah.
So we just wanted to kind of delve into the fact, and don't worry about saying anything you shouldn't say. I'll say all that. Don't worry. Why did? So it's a kind of a 2-pronged question, really. Why did you go over there? And like, obviously, you're happy there because you've been over there for 7 years. So it's not like you did a couple of years and came back. So why did you go over initially? And then, like, the kind of the B bit of that question is, why do you think that people are getting over to the States, and why is it that basically people are leaving the UK to do that? Like, is it an American problem in the sense that they're not creating enough pros, or is it a British problem in the sense that they do all the training and then they're not offering enough money, etc., etc.? And you don't worry about being political. I'll do that bit.
Ooh.
I think my personal story, I played in the US Open here in 2013 in Philly. It was like January or something. So I played, maybe February. I played here, obviously met Robbie, and sort of three months later he called me up and we had like a sort of chat, and he was like, would you be interested in coming here? I was like, yes. So then we set up like an interview, and then at the time I was 20 years old. And
mate, that's mental.
He offered me the job, and I was like, why not really? Like, right now.
Well, you could do 5 years there, right, and come back and you're still a baby.
Exactly. So it was like, I remember, I think my dad spoke to Rob Bay, and he was like, he should definitely do it. Go over, get some experience, make some money, and if he doesn't like it, just come straight home.
I quite like that.
I remember being like, God, that sounds perfect. And then sort of, you've got, at the time, you did have Tim, who's 2.5 hour drive, not that far. Cam's obviously over here. Stevie was here. Like, you had some good players.
Robbie Whitehouse is pretty good on the floor.
Rob Whitehouse, getting to train with him.
Well, to be fair, like when you moved over there as well, he would have been like, obviously, like his knees have seen better days now, but like he would have been good back like 7 years ago. He would have been decent, wouldn't he?
Yeah. I think he started to have problems sort of 5 years ago with his knees badly, but he's now sort of back in a much better. I mean, I think he's the fittest I've seen him since I've really been there. Like he looks good now. He's happy with where he's at and striking it. So, but between all of those things, like I still wanted to improve, become the best that I can, and at the same time, experience a different country, make some money, and then see sort of where I'm at. And that was the initial thought. And then as it went on, you start to build a life here and enjoy it. And I've been doing some good stuff on the tennis front, and I still think I can get better here, and I don't need to be in the UK.
Get yourself to Leamington, you never know. You don't know what could happen. But
Benny would know. I had 2.5 months 2 or 3 years ago when I had some visa issues in the UK, and it was fantastic. I think that...
Was it as long ago as that?
And a bit...
Mate.
Yeah, because my visa runs out this time on May 2021, so...
What's going to happen after that?
I can look at a green card, but the problem was last time they wanted my sort of resume of results to look stronger, and then it looks easier to get it. So rather than, I know it's like they want you to look really sort of cream of the crop, so then you get sort of a shoe in. But this last visa, I was more on like a coaching one, so I'm on an O1. So I'm more in there as an outstanding coach and like developing the game, working with the top amateurs in the US.
Oh yeah, well, to be fair, you do like the Bathurst Academy. You're in all those pictures, so I suppose that's part of your visa.
That helps on my visa front, yeah. But it's kind of crazy, the whole
it's mental.
system. I've had the bad run of it sort of every time, really, apart from the first one.
You could probably just say anything and they give you a visa. Like, honestly, I've developed a different shot, like a different way of hitting the dead on. Like I've revolutionised the game.
Didn't Phil Shannon like have written in his visa application that like he invented like a serve or something like that? I'm sure there's some renegade like story there that he invented the railroad or something like that.
I mean, quite possibly, because you think of it, it goes to the immigration people, and you've got some. You've got Joey sitting at his desk. He's seeing all these applications. He's got no idea really what's going on. So you have to sell him in this sort of opening letter.
You've got to try and draw him in.
Right, and you've got to make this guy believe that he's letting someone in come and stay in the country that is going to be an asset to the US.
He's got the best double-handed volley ever.
Yeah, I think it's also a bit... if he's had a bad day and he got done by his girlfriend last night, he's going to be in a shocking mood.
Or his boyfriend.
Deny, or boyfriend, deny, and you next thing your application's done, and you're like, wow, that was pretty wild.
That won't be you, mate. You've got this podcast to back you up. I mean, you're all over it. Like, you're our number one guest.
We're literally changing the world. So don't you worry about that. We'll write a cover letter for you.
Yeah, exactly. Producer and non-executive director.
So your reasons for moving at that point obviously were tennis based.
Yeah.
And obviously you had like age on your side. Like we said, like you're 20 or you were at the time. 5-10 years, like that's nothing at that age kind of thing. So like, moving on to like something that's a bit more sensitive. Why do you think the UK are like struggling to hold on to their pros? Because like I'll say it, like we're understaffed in this country. Like there's not enough pros to go around. They're doing a massive initiative at the moment to like find new talent, which I've been a part of about 1%. So I'm not going to claim any credit for it, but there's been a lot of people like working behind the scenes to come up with this program, and it does seem to be like the best program I've seen since I've been like a pro to try and get like talent in and fill these positions. But I mean,
Right.
ultimately the recruitment up until now has been pretty poor, and
Yeah.
like you say, these youngsters just get poached by the guys in America. And that's not a criticism of the guys in America. Like for the same reasons you went. If I was 22 and somebody offered me the chance to go and live in a major US city, and ultimately, what's the worst that could happen? You don't like it and you fly back, right?
Right. Exactly. It's like it's a very easy, like with travel. It's so before obviously COVID, it's so easy. You're back home in 7 hours, like $800.
Exactly.
Like,
But let's be honest, the money's loads better.
Yeah, you definitely make. So I was talking to someone about this the other day. So I basically, when I go into work, obviously we're trying to fill the court, but the main thing is making sure, for me personally, that I've got lessons lined up, right?
Yeah.
My clinics are filled. I've got somewhere between hopefully 3, 4, 5 lessons a day. And I know that's gonna make me X amount a week, and then my month's gonna look, good. So then from there,
what, $200 an hour, mate? You're doing all right.
But whereas
And the rest,
VAT in the UK, it's all court bookings, right? And so that's like you give a lesson. I think you make a little bit more per lesson than you do filling a court for doubles. So it's like
there's certainly a much bigger incentive to go on court in America than there is in the UK. And I think just for those like those people that don't know about it, there's like a model in the US, obviously, because your clubs are much bigger with like multi-sport and stuff like that. There are like systems, I think, where they pay like a fixed like membership fee, right? And then they get like free courts and stuff like that, or heavily discounted.
The athletic package, right?
Like a gym membership, right? You pay a membership and then you can use the club.
So you're called a playing member and you pay a fee for the year, and then basically if you play 3 times in 2 weeks, you beat the system.
Yeah. Whoa! Exactly. So at that point,
it's only 1.5 times a week. So people might be like, "Oh, I don't play in the summer," but if you're there in the winter 3, 4 times a week, you're still gonna win.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think like on that basis as well, every time they come into the club, they're not really necessarily spending money because like they're there, right? So they're like, well, I may as well have a lesson, or like, I enjoy like having a run around with John or Robbie or James or whatever. So
or have a beer or something.
I'll do that because it's good fun, and because they're not having to pay like fees when they play.
Yeah.
They're happy to pay for a lesson, and also let's not forget that like Americans just love spending money as well. So that's part of it, and English people are notoriously tight and don't like spending money. So like you say, like if when a lesson comes in for you, like whatever the price is, and we're not going to get like crass and talk about money, but that money goes to you because there are no court fees and they paid their membership or whatever it is. Whereas in the UK, it's that age-old thing where it's like, oh, well, out of this fee, the member kind of goes, God, that's expensive. And they're like, well, yeah, I need to pay the court fee out of that. And then, like, I need to do, like, this, and the club's got to take their share. So actually, I'm left with, like, a tenner. So, like, the incentive is not there for people to do it. Or you get people just go out there, like, churning out 8 hours a day. And it's pretty savage. So it's easier to earn better. Your earnings per hour for going on court in America are obviously better than here. Shall we say that without getting
for sure
getting too brutal?
Compared to Radley College under Chris Ronaldson, probably.
Yeah, exactly. No comment.
Sorry, Chris.
So it's just a different model, right? Like
exactly.
It's so different. Like at Radley, I would have, if I had 3, 4, 5 lessons a week, that would be a big week.
Yeah.
Lesson wise,
Yeah, it's just it's not a lesson based mentality, is it?
And everyone's just happy to like, you can take. Sometimes I'm giving 3, 4 lessons a week to the same person here, and they just enjoy that I can control the ball, make them hit good shots. Like they get a workout.
They like your
Or
hair.
they enjoy working on their game. It's whatever. Yeah, they just love it.
Yeah,
And
they're not
then-
necessarily interested in like going hammer and tongs with another member. They're like, right, I want to go in, I want to
Right.
play court tennis because I enjoy it, and I want to have a good sweat, and I want to have a laugh doing it. And if I go on court with one of the
Exactly.
pros, I'm going to enjoy that because I'm going to get to hit loads of balls. There's going to be a bit of banter,
It's true, actually.
and it's just going to be good fun. And they don't. And do you know what? If you turn around and go, oh, by the way, that's 50, 60, 70 bucks, it's like, I don't care. Like, it's worth it. Do you know what I mean? That's like, I'm going to
Yeah,
have fun. It's
exactly.
worth it. Whereas you turn around to a member over here and you're like, oh, yeah, that lesson's going to be 40 quid. They're like, oh, God. I mean, it's brutal. Like,
That's 8 pints.
Right.
yeah, exactly. So the financials are obviously something to do with it. So that's there's obviously a reason why people are moving over there. Like, and we're not throwing you into that category because you moved for tennis reasons and you stayed out there for tennis reasons. The money is obviously like a bit of an added bonus, as it were. But
Yeah.
why do you think? Like, is there? So you don't. The American clubs don't generally recruit American guys, right? Would we say that's fair
just
as
think-
as a broad statement?
I agree. I think the clubs in the US, they're not necessarily set up for juniors fantastically. So,
Well, yeah. How's
like
a junior going to
in
be a member?
Philly, we had a good squash and sort of tennis thing going a couple of years ago, and sort of maybe when I first moved there, so 5-6 years ago, and then it was like they sort of a couple families move out to the suburbs, or the kids get a bit older and they're doing other things. And I feel like in Philly it goes in sort of waves. Like we have a couple, so like now there's these two, they're brothers, and they're starting to really get into it. And they're young, so you don't really know where they could get to. But other than them on the tennis, and apart from the school programs we run, it's difficult to get juniors on the court. And people generally, when they come to the club, they're coming for their time. Like, so if a member's, a doctor and he's coming in to play his game of squash, he's not bringing his kids in there. He's using that as his exercise. Come in, have his time.
Mate, he's doing that to get away from. He's doing that to get away from the kids.
Right. So, and I think that's like people have, they have kids, but they very rarely bring them into the club.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, that's their club, isn't it? It's like that's that's their leisure time, as it were.
Right.
So that's
we've
understandable.
Got a couple that are young as well on the squash, but it's not. They're too young really right now for court tennis. But
who knows?
And there's no. It's not like where you have a C court or I don't know, like the schools. Radley Oratory. Wellington, that are going to be churning out these kids that are leaving school at 18, and there's loads of them, and they're all good players, and they can move to pretty much anywhere in the UK, not anywhere, but that they'll be close to a club if they wanted to keep playing.
Yeah. Well, and also the thing with like the UK as well, like it's a small country, so if you move somewhere in the UK and then like you get a bit homesick, it's not exactly like hours and days to get home, is it?
Right, you'd be unlucky to move somewhere and not be that close to a tennis court.
But yeah, so
some way or form.
So link back to your original question then. So obviously you took the big step to move to America. We've talked about the practice. Obviously you got way better in America since 2013. Obviously became a ranked player, narrowly missed out on the eliminators. We've got basically the different model, which perhaps suits the professional, suits the playing professional in your case. I mean, we've talked in another podcast about how maybe a lot of pros in England aren't necessarily allowed to be players because of the constraints the club places on them. All in all, seems like a decent decision from you, John.
Yeah, I love it. And the club, the racket club, the Philly club's been very good to me with like my tournament time and all of that. So they're very supportive in that way. And I think, American clubs enjoy having a top guy that they can get behind. And
yeah, I like that.
Whenever I come back from a tournament, I have the same conversation like 30, 40 times. Like the same, they all know, I'm going away and playing a tournament. They all ask how I get on and everything, which is, it's nice. You
must be brutal having
sort of team.
Must be brutal having like 30 guys asking you how you lost a bet.
But it's tough. And then
Doesn't
I'm
have to
sure
answer it that
Asher-
often, thank God.
Yeah, I know. Only happened once.
Asher and Robbie hate listening. You know that. Oh god, here we go. John's going off into his spiel again. And by
Yeah.
the 20th time, I've got it word for word.
I was going to say, mate, you got your scripts at that point.
The story changed. Honestly, there was this point at 4-4 in the third, or was it the fifth?
Exactly. I'm making notes on the flight home.
But do you know what I think?
I'm not gonna imagine that. Yeah.
Like what you say there is like absolutely true, and like I always have to put a caveat in like the things I say that like it's not I'm not having a pop at anyone or anything like that. But I think you're absolutely right. Like in America, if you're a top player, you're an asset to the club. Like they love having you there.
Great point.
Like it's a big like they're proud. Like Philadelphia would be proud to say that they've got like a top 10 player working at their club. That's an honor for them.
Well, think about every club, right?
100%.
You got New York with Stout. Where I'm trying to think. Yeah, Philly with you. Sorry.
Or Chicago,
Steve,
like Tuxedo,
Cam,
Tim.
yeah,
like,
Tim. Boston with Cam. Like that's 5 clubs there where you've got a gun working. I mean,
well, Nicky at Newport up until
Nicky
obviously
formerly,
recently, but like
Oh,
over
yesterday.
here, and it's not I'm not criticising any clubs in particular or anything like that, but broadly speaking, it's a bit of a burden if you're a player. Do you know what I mean? Like because they're like, oh, how much time off are you going to want and stuff like that, and it's just like you don't have to the clubs don't have to get behind playing pros like they do in America. Like Americans love cheering for people, right? Like they love having their guy or their girl, and they love like getting behind them, and that's what they do.
Completely.
Like they love whooping and hollering, and it's great. Over here, like it's not like they're anti that at all, but you can tell that they're like kind of like, oh, I hope your tournaments go well and stuff like that. But first and foremost, like the club needs to be like looked after, and it's like if the club can be looked after, and you've got a horse that can go out and do stuff and try and win stuff. Like God, they should just love that a lot more. I think.
they like it at Leamington, Ben. Don't worry.
Oh, I'm very lucky. Like I'm very
You're the
lucky.
only one.
Like, I'm very very lucky here. They're happy for me to play in anything, and as long as the club's covered and stuff like that, which it is. Like as long as I sort that kind of side of it out, then it's absolutely fine. But I can think of like 15 clubs off the top of my head where if I applied for a job there, the first question I would get is like, how much tournament time do you want? Or I wouldn't even get a question because they'd just be like, oh, we don't want someone like you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be this is an interesting proposition, let's see how we can make it work. It would just be like, no. Like we already know that we don't want that. Like over here, I think in America they want pros and they want top players and they want people that are willing to get out there and get on court and stuff like that. And over here, I just see things getting like clubs want managers now. They want like administrators. They don't care if you.
I think right, Benno. And here's one for you. So obviously you've got the top 10, and obviously I love handicaps, whatever. You've got the top 10 in England on handicap. I reckon it's half and half pros and amateurs. How weird is that?
Well, who would it be? Let's go through it.
I
mean, what, Brits only or people based in England?
People based in England, right?
Okay,
people
so
based
it'd be
in
me,
England.
Rob, Bryn.
Or even British people based in England, we'll say that.
So not Rob.
Not Rob, okay, take out Rob. So you and Bryn.
Me and Bryn.
Let me say Douglas 3.
Yeah, I'm already looking at an amateur.
Yeah. I think Ed Kay will be 4. And then me and Gideon's 5 and 6. And
Darren.
Then Darren. So that's 7. And then Neil. And then that's 8 already.
Well, without being rude to Neil, is he the 8th best player in the UK or playing off 5? I reckon
yeah,
Lummers.
Based in UK, yeah.
Lummers, you could probably name 8+ handicap players in America, couldn't you?
Yeah, I mean,
it's got to be close.
Cam, Tim, T, myself, Nicky, where you just left, but Nicky,
Tim.
Barney's like a 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Leon,
Southie.
3.
Leon's right there. He's like, yeah. Josh Dodgson.
Stevie.
Connor.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a different ballgame, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the top 10 right there.
So I think the top 10 in England, if you had like Peter Wright as well, I reckon the top 10 in England who are actually based in England, I reckon you get half Brits would be amateurs, half pros. I mean,
probably more than half.
Bizarre.
Probably like 60-40.
And I can only see that, right? If this model stays the same, and I'm going to make a big statement here, in the next 10 years, I can see that model basically making that gap even bigger. So we could perhaps see like 7 amateurs in the top 10 in England.
Wow.
In 10 years' time. Right, Benno, if you're 46, right, you might not be competing. Who knows?
It'll be broken.
Who else is coming through? Who's going to stay in England? I mean, who's not going to go to America, right?
Yeah, well, that's just it, isn't it? So like, if we take the crass money side out of it, and then talk about like another reason why you'd want to go to America right now rather than work in the UK is it's got all the best players.
Yeah.
Like if you take finances out of it entirely, it's got all the best players. Like, look, your National League must be crazy.
It's crazy, yeah. Like,
Your National League would have
many,
been like ours was about 10 years ago. Yeah, mate, I remember a couple of years ago chatting to you in America, and like you and Nikki were like having to like play. One of you was having to play like number 2 or something, and it was just like, oh god, imagine, like, without being rude to the number 2s over there or anything, but you're so spoiled for choice with plus handicap players.
Yeah.
It was savage. So like this year, for example, it's not a criticism of anyone over here. So they were talking about doing National League this year, and Josh Smith kind of contacted me and was like, would you be interested in playing? And I was like, yeah, I would be, mate, but only if I fit in somewhere. Like, I'm the odd one out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like I'm the odd one out because I'm not good enough. Like, I'm the odd one out because like everyone else is around that kind of 1 to 7 mark, and I'm the one that sticks out like a sore thumb. So
Too good.
yeah, so it's just weird, man. It's just weird. I was hitting with Rob on Monday at the Oratory.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I haven't hit a ball since March properly. And we were just talking about it like halfway through practice, and we're like, I've got absolutely no reason to be on court until whatever, because I haven't even got National League to play in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be a full. So the last tournament I would have played in would have been the US Open, Chicago. It's probably going to be a full calendar year before I compete again, because I've got nothing to compete in. How weird is that?
So our games, our matches are 15-0-15 are pretty intense, though.
They are pretty intense, yeah. They're pretty intense. Luckily, I take all the prize money because he's an amateur. So what do we do then, Lummers? How do we stop the? How do we make the UK more appealing for people?
Just need more.
I'm not sure. I think I read that. Did they send it out on the TNRA? Did they send out an email about that initiative they're doing or program?
Yeah.
The training thing. Like, I'm obviously not naming it just in case it's not public yet, but
what's it called?
Right. I think.
Well, it's good if it's come out.
Yeah, when you're in the UK and you're in that assistant role, it's difficult. Then you get sort of that invite to America, or even if you go there for a tournament and you see what it's like, and especially I think when you're younger, you're like, wow, it seems amazing to go over there.
Well, it's a chance to live in a different country, and
that's a mint point. That Lummers, that's a mint point.
Right, and you start talking about like, the job and everything, and it just sounds so appealing. I think to that younger.
Yeah, genuinely, it's
person.
like, am I going to work in Essex? Am I going to work in Hertfordshire? Am I going to work in the Midlands? No, I'm going to work in like New York, Philly, Boston, these gun cities. Like,
well, and also it's
a no-brainer, isn't it? Like, you just don't say no.
Well, it's something different as well, isn't it? Like, if you're so like if you spoke to people that weren't British, and they'd be like, oh, I love going to England. It's amazing. Whereas because we are English and we live here, you kind of take it for granted. You don't see what's so amazing about it. You kind of go, I love living here, but like it doesn't have the same draw. Do you know what I mean? To an English person because you're here. Whereas if you're like, oh yeah, I'd love going to America because it's something different and it's like something that doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah.
So, if you turn around to like a Brit who is young and kind of say, do you want to come over to America? Obviously, like the clubs are great as well. Like, it's not like they just move you over there and say, right, look after yourself. They'll be like, right, we'll try and like find you somewhere to live temporarily so you can get on your feet and all that kind of stuff. And you're not just like a little kid moving to the big city in a different country and you're left to fend for yourself. Like, they look after you, and before you know it, you've then got yourself a life.
Right.
Well, it's a shame, mate, because we all miss you over here.
I know, I miss it too. Obviously I've got family and great friends over there, but like I said earlier, you build this life here, and then it's like, wow, I don't know.
It's harder to get rig pics on the beach though in England. It's much easier in America.
Yeah, for sure.
That's one bonus as well. Maybe the hair product's stronger in America as well. You wouldn't have to import it over.
They make good stuff here.
Too right.
It's just glue.
Well, this is good, man. This has been a good podcast. I feel like we've really opened up some some doors. Honestly, listening to you there, John, when you said about how you hear about the job, you hear about America, and I was thinking if I was in that position, for sure I would be it's a no-brainer. And it's just, I think anyone who can listen can probably relate to that. When you're young, can anyone remember when they were young?
It's exciting.
It's
if you get approached about a job or something, you want it to be sold to you, don't you?
Yeah.
Like if someone kind of said, "Oh, do you want to come and work here?" And you're like, "All right, well, what's the sell it to me," and they're kind of like, "Well, no, do you just want to come and work here?" It wouldn't be that appealing. Whereas when America came calling for you, and obviously Robbie's an absolute legend as well, so you're just the club's great, and it's such a good place to be, and all of the things that they would have sold to you about the members being great and the club being active and stuff like that, they're not lies. They are a great place to be, and that's a big difference between the UK and the US as well. Is obviously the setup is completely different in that the UK clubs, generally speaking, apart from the obvious big hitters, were private estates that have then been leased out to clubs. So they're in obscure places, and they would have just been a family court. So the facilities are basic, shall we say. Whereas pretty much all of the American courts are part of sports complexes. So you must have people pinging around the club all day. Even if no one plays court tennis, you'll see 50 people that are playing squash. Few people will be in for beers. You'll have people coming in the morning
on the bench,
into the gym and stuff like that. So there's a constant buzz around the place, right?
Yeah, massively. And there's always people, like you said, around. And if you're, if you wanted to take a break from court tennis and still stay fit and play a sport, you've got 3 other choices right there, double squash rackets or single squash.
Yeah.
And then you've got the gym in the building, you got the pub down in the basement. It's it's a whole operation.
And if you want to be able to if you want to be able to hide from Robbie, there's plenty of places in the club to do that as well.
And the showers are good.
Yeah.
Imagine being at I'll use this club because it doesn't have a pro. Imagine being the pro, being one of 2 pros at Hardwick, and the other guy's pissing you off. Where are you going to go?
Yeah, it's savage.
It's I'm pretty bored of real tennis. What else shall I do? Oh, go to the changing room?
Yeah. Go outside and drive home.
Yeah, exactly. Leave.
20 calls to fill the court.
Unbelievable.
Exactly. I've got to drive 20 minutes just to get back to civilization.
Honestly. Right, well, Lummers, what are you up to this weekend anyway? So it's Saturday tomorrow for you in a while. What are you on this weekend?
Saturday tomorrow. So I was off today, but I'm working tomorrow, so I got clinics in the morning. I'm actually hitting with Freddie Bristow.
Whoa, Freddie Bristow! Watch out for that volley. Watch out for that backhand volley he's got.
I haven't. I've never actually hit a ball with him. So
have you never? Send my best.
Excited.
Mate, Shanks has got some French. Shanks, all right, I'm gonna have to tell you a story now. This is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, you can tell him this story.
We've got a small little kind of group of reelers guys over here in a WhatsApp group, and Shanks was playing Freddie Bristow in the under 24s.
Under 24s, yeah.
And obviously not under 21s. And anyway, he was playing Freddie Bristow, and I said, "Oh mate," to the group, I was like, "Oh mate, watch out! He beat Rod at the British Open this year." And Shanks said, and I quote, "Freddie Bristow is not fit enough to lace my boots." Right. Anyway, 2 days later, Shanks is 1 set and 5-2 down or something like that. And
I had to dig deep. 1 in 3 though. It's okay. Those boots were freshly laced by the end of the 3rd set.
So that I just remember that he's not fit enough to lace my boots, and then sure enough, oh god. Anyway,
these things happen.
Well, that's good. So he could be.
Mate, he's good, man.
He's obviously a talent. So in fact, we always talk about this quite a lot in the podcast as well. Who's coming through? Anyone coming through?
I
think the silence says it all, doesn't it?
He's looking like the best bet, right? And obviously, it's nice that Schenker has got it together and started playing some proper reelers. That's exciting to see.
He's just a retriever, mate. He's not a real tennis player. He's just a retriever.
Mate, I've got belief. My strengths are in the head. You can't see him on court.
I mean, it's difficult, right? Like we've got 2 young guys here in Philly that are like that 2021 age, but they've got to really drive on to get anywhere near sort of you guys, like, and be that top amateur level. But I don't know what it's looking like in the UK. I know Freddie's.
Don't worry, mate. We're now 30 podcasts in. I think if anyone was coming through, we'd have probably mentioned
pretty bleak.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
But no, that'd be good. Hitting with Fred and then just chilling on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll just chill on Sunday. I think we got some friends coming into town tonight.
Oh, hello.
So
Don't be hungover for practice,
dinner,
John.
But that'll be pretty tame for me anyway.
Couple of Smirnoff Ices, but don't take the third one.
Exactly.
Slim line.
I got a big doubles clinic at 9 a.m. in the morning, so I got to be on top form for that.
Make sure you don't forget your mask.
Exactly. We don't have to wear a glove like you guys do, though. Do you still have to wear the glove?
At Leamington, yeah. At Manchester, no rules.
Really?
What, Manchester have literally not put one thing in place.
It's good at Manchester. You like
normal.
Well, the thing is, so like,
yeah.
there's this big like ball rotation policy thing in the UK, and we don't do it here at Leamington because there's obviously no evidence to suggest, like positively or negatively, that like a ball is a carrier. So we're basically saying like, I'm going to put a set of balls on and take them off when they're dead, like we would do normally. If you put a glove on, if the balls are a carrier, then you take the glove off and chuck it in the bin at the end. So any dodginess is on the glove and it goes in the bin. That's the strategy that we're employing.
Okay.
Be good though. Nonetheless, Benno, what are you on this weekend?
Saturday tomorrow, isn't it? Well, I've got to come in and watch you and Levi Gale try and out-chip each other for 2 hours tomorrow.
Pre-season training.
So that'll be fun. And then I'm stringing 2 rackets for you. And then I've got to give a lesson to a junior, which I'm looking forward to because he's an absolute legend. And then I'm off on Sunday, so I might just
have beers.
No, I might literally just have a Bryn Sayer, get stuck in.
Yeah, an all day. I like that. Well, I'm 24 on Sunday, so
yeah.
I mean, yeah, exactly. It's my birthday.
Hey,
I don't know what I'm doing.
Happy birthday for them.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I think I'm going to play real tennis with my dad on Sunday. That's about it. That's all I've got planned for now. But we'll see. I'll work something out. This podcast is a good enough present for me, John. Don't you worry.
Oh, you're too sweet.
Just to hear your voice. But no, been a lot of fun talking to you. We're at 57 minutes. I mean, we don't want to. I mean, I know it's a blockbuster episode.
We can't hit the hour though.
I know we can't hit an hour. We're not a part of that life. But it's been amazing to have you on, to taking time out of your day off.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, mate. Thank you so much for thanks for coming on, and please spread the word to the US.
Yeah, get the RCOP members on it.
Definitely.
But nonetheless, guys, hope you've enjoyed this one. Some hard hitting points, and we will see you next time.